Sun and Earth Modern User Reference Guide book, determining Earth's true surface shape as flat using the sun. What we should have been taught in our general education system but weren't. It talks about the 9-step geometric validation process, and especially when we're talking about the shape of the Earth, we're talking about geometry. And in the globe model, we're said to be orbiting around the sun, so we'd want to use the sun. That's really orbital mechanics 101. We'd want to use the sun to verify the shape of the Earth, especially the surface shape of the Earth, using the sun and vertical angle. It's what we should have been taught. I know there's a lot of talk about using flight paths and other things like that. It's not a geometric validation process. It's a very poor process. You want to use the sun and geometry, basically because we're talking about a geometric form, a geometric shape. This Sun and Earth Modern User Reference Guide, again, very comprehensive, and it details how to do that, how to conduct the test, a correct test in testing Earth's true surface shape. There are 13 sections, very detailed sections, from the basics, understanding the basic models for the globe and the flat Earth model, to understanding how triangulation works. The Marks device, sun survey positioning device, talks a little bit about the map room, understanding maps, setting up an orienting station, and then goes through each step of the 9-step geometric validation process and what a sun plot is, and how we create a sun plot and sun plot tables, and then goes into the extensive testing of Operation Resolute Time, a 6-month period of time in Kabul, Afghanistan, at high altitude from 7 February 2020 to 8 August of 2020. Very extensive testing, and then back here in the United States in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in the summer seasons of 2021, 22, and 23. And then how to perform a right triangle calculation, and that's how we can determine whether or not that sun is in the right position at the right size. And again, there's a glossary along with this, terms and definitions, templates for some of the templates that are used in this book, and then there actually is a table of 16 task lists. It actually teaches you how to do each specific task. There's an introduction, goes through a lot of the basics and a lot of fundamental geometry, what we should have learned. The introduction section also talks about why we use the sun in testing Earth's true surface shape, and talks a little bit about each of the aspects. It's, again, a very comprehensive book. Again, section 1, understanding the basics of both the globe and the globe heliocentric model and the geocentric flat Earth model. And at the end of, it's very picture heavy, very diagram heavy. There's over, I think, 130 pictures and illustrations in the book, so it's very detailed. It's to give a greater understanding of what we should have learned in our education system. And again, it breaks down each of the models. And here we talk about the sun position and the tilt for the globe model, why the sun is always 90 degrees, always 90 degrees. And that's really kind of a fundamental understanding of positioning of the sun in both models, for both the flat Earth and the globe model. We need to understand that and how to test it properly. Manual alignment teaches you how to do actual manual linear alignment, and that's what we want to use, the magnetic north, and then get our positioning. Again, a lot of it is about triangulation and right triangles, knowing how to do those. Something we're not taught in our traditional education system when we talk about the shape of the Earth. They want to show us diagrams and pictures, again, from space and things of that nature, but this puts the power of discovery into the individual's hand. Knowing the observer location, where you're at when you're doing the test and the measurement, and really the sun season, summer sun season, is when you want to test when you want to perform this test. Some of the things that we need to know: the effects of distance that has on angles. The farther we are out on distance, of course, the lower the elevation is from that object, especially if it's an elevated object. And again, this just goes through each of that. And again, once we get to the end of each chapter, and again talks a little bit about the Gleason's map, breaks it down. the SDA, the low sky, how it facilitates and why. Sometimes we can't see certain stars from certain positions, but it gives a checks on learning at the end of some chapters, so it reinforces or helps you understand why that is. And again, gives you better understanding. It's higher knowledge, something again that we're not taught in our traditional education. Again, this is just a little bit more information on the Sun and Earth Mother User Reference Guide. There'll be a series of short videos coming out on this book. I'm Corey Kell. Thanks for watching.